443 506 7905. We can handle it. We
That you used to get out of that job.
take away your stress. Anywhere business for your relocation. 24/7 services. Don't miss out on it. If you're moving, you should call Focus Movers. We got trucks and crews called Focus Movers.
Join us each and every Monday at 6 p.m. as we bring to you Ladies Night with the Hustle Queens. I'm Cinnamon.
And I'm Tony. And as always,
Keep hustling, Queens.
Is that comfortable?
Greetings. It's your Queen of Trauma Drama, Evangelist Dr. Tony Terry, asking you to join me every Sunday for the Hour of Power radio show, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Power 4.4 Radio. This is a place where you can speak your trauma and eliminate your drama. Again, that's every Sunday, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Power 4.4 Radio.
This is Kid Kong. Tune into Toon World every Saturday from 8 to 9 p.m. on Power 4.4 Radio.
You're listening to Power 4.4 Radio with the Power of Influence with Dr. E every other Friday. Dr. E every other Friday, 8 p.m. to 9, right here on Power 4.4 Radio. But make sure you download that app Live 365 and look for Power 4.4. It is where people are the power.
Hey there, this is Michael Braxton with Health Tips and Headlines. What's going on in your garden of health? Join me with my radio family at Power 4.4 every Wednesday from 6 p.m. until 7 p.m.
What up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Derek Darrell Dixon right here. I'm talking with 3D right here on Power 4.4, where the people are the power. Listen, I'm here every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so tell a friend and make sure that you tune in, because we are always going to be sipping the coffee and spilling the tea, so don't miss it. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here, Power 4.4, because you know what? The people are the power.
Tune in to the best radio show on planet Earth, SME, from 6 to 7 every Tuesday. We're truly undefeated and can't be beat. Even though the show is called SME, it's not just about me. We work as a team to build our dream.
It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine. Salt and pepper and heavy D up in the limousine. Hanging pictures on my wall. Every Saturday, rapper track Mr. Magic Molly Mall.
It's your boy, King JTH, here live on SME. And my co-hosts today are...
Taylor.
Oh, Cole.
First up...
I forgot him.
First up, we have some guests in the building to interview. And their names are...
Dr. Ted Sutton, founder of Men Against Murder and People Can Change Youth Movement.
And Chris Seymour with Nehemiah Construction, where we do construction, new houses, construction, development in D.C., Maryland, and Virginia.
So, I'm going to start off with Mr. Chris. I noticed that you have a hair company. What made you want to be a hair owner?
That's a long story, but it's real short as well. So I was dating a young lady who was actually in the hair business. So just a little history about me. I am a true entrepreneur. I started my first company when I was 21 years old, and I've actually never worked for anyone since then. So I've been in the fashion industry where we had a clothing line. We were national. We were in Nordstrom's, Macy's, all over the country. In some places we were even in Japan. And prior to that, I had clothing stores. And things just got, one thing led to another, and we were just getting, very popular and very famous. What came out of that is that I had a lot of international experience, which brought me kind of to a young lady that I was going out with when she said she wanted to get a little bit more deeper into the hair industry. And so because I had connections all over the world, basically, we went on a search and actually found a factory where we own out in the Philippines now. So I actually have a factory outside of Manila, about an hour outside of Manila, where we do hair extension. It's virgin hair. We don't sell in your hair stores. We sell directly online. And the name of that company is called Galaxy 5000. In that position, I was the COO, the CFO, and I turned the operations over to my wife, so she actually runs the day-to-day business with that. But nevertheless, that got started in 2014, and we're a very high-producing company now, over in the seven-figure lane now. So we're very happy about that and very excited about it. But that's the hair part.
I also noticed that your company is in Thailand. Why did you specifically choose Thailand?
It's not Thailand, it's the Philippines.
Oh, Philippines.
So, little difference there. I would ask the same question if it was Thailand. No, Filipino people, the indigenous people there are people that have hair that's very close to sort of African American hair, meaning that it goes from straight to what we call a coarse grade, and it really goes along with the clients that we have that have been purchasing from us for some years now. And again, we're not just dealing with African Americans; we deal with black, white, yellow, red. But we had that texture of hair is the best one, as far as I'm concerned, in the world that coexists with the hair that's out, African American hair. So therefore, it's I guess an easier sale, you can put it that way, or it's a easier hair to manage in terms of looking real.
What other country you would have chose?
Would have chose. Well, let me back up. So when I said I did a research, we did a research that was actually in China, and so China was you have people that have hair companies from all over the world, all over China, and you got other countries that come there. So it's just really a matter of just looking around and seeing who has the best hair. And I knew nothing about that, but my wife did, because it had to be about 5,000 companies there, and I didn't know what she was looking for, except she was just saying, no, that's not it, that's not it. And I'm just like, wow, what is it? And there was a small little company out there that had the hair that she said that this is the one that was it. And we invited those folks over to our hotel room, and we began a business relationship now that included us actually partnering with their whole entire manufacturer. So not only do we sell here in the U.S., but we sell in Africa, and we also sell in the UK.
Well, I'm going to pass it off to Miss Taylor. She's going to ask you some questions as well.
What made you interested in real estate?
Real estate, believe it or not, is something that I really, really enjoy from every facet. So that story is really fast. When I left the clothing industry, and it was kind of an abrupt move. We were doing really well, and I got into construction. That's where I started off in real estate, because I was actually building my own house. So we were building the house out in Howard County some years ago, and really started liking it, and really started getting involved with it. And I initially invested in a company that were builders, and we connected with them at first, and I merged out on my own some years later after that. But that's what kind of got me into it. I got very excited, and knowing that we can make people's dreams come true, and we can build these big, beautiful homes. We built houses as big as 14,000 square feet and as small as 2,500 square feet. So we were a mid-sized custom builder. And after that, got into development. So what that is, basically, is getting a plot of land and subdividing it. So when you subdivide it, you see these communities, and you see the house here as the address. And that's what we did. We got land and we subdivided it, and we were assigned addresses to them. And in some cases we would build, but in more cases than not, we would sell those subdivided lots to larger builders who actually wanted to purchase from us. And that was extremely exciting.
What's the job you haven't done but will want to do it?
Say it one more time.
What's the job you haven't done but will want to do it?
What's a job that I have? Wow, what a story is. What about that? I'm a person that actually loves challenges, and so every business that I had, I can just say that I never had the experience prior to that. So I don't have a direct desire. I just kind of been pushed that ways. But the next thing that seemed to be excited is commercial real estate or commercial construction. And we are actually working on 3 different projects right now with Marriott hotels, where we're actually renovating the hotels. We got our 3rd contract with Marriott just in this short period of time. And so we're exploring that and maybe building some buildings for Marriott. Never know.
Who's this
What motivated you to build houses?
What made me want to build houses? Well, just make it, well, it's a couple of things. So in my experience, when I built my own house initially, how I got into this whole entire business and building, I would still have my clothing company. And there were just a lot of different, I should just say, not so good contractors. And so we ran into some really unfortunate situations when I was building my house prior to that. And I just thought I could do a better job, infrastructure-wise and, administrative-wise, and being able to have a manager on site and all those good things I think we can put together. So that's what made me do it. And I have a passion for my clients. So the people who actually really want to build and really want good service, we're that company that will take our time and work with our clients in a way where they'll be totally happy with the product that we give them.
Okay, now we're going to pass it to my other co-host, Cole, and he's going to ask you some questions as well.
What ministry are you a part of?
Well, at my church, I am the chairman of my trustee board at church, so deal with the finances, and not only just in the finances of it, but because my background is in construction and real estate and property, we were at a church in Washington, D.C., where I facilitated the sale of that property into a property that's out now in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. And pretty much it was a really good scenario for the church. We actually got 2 properties there. One that had 80 acres on there, and we were able to do subdivision with another developer where the church made out really good. We invested in one amount and got 20 times higher than the property's worth, 20 times higher than it was when we purchased it. So that was very exciting for the church, and those things, that's a blessing from God. So that's what we enjoy doing.
Tell me about Galaxy 5000 Company.
So that's going back to the hair business. Galaxy, like I said, I did create the name. I will give myself credit on that. But beyond that, a lot of that was just been with my wife in terms of having what the customer or the purchaser really needed, or the culture needed. And that's having virgin hair. So let me talk about that just for a moment. A lot of times ladies go and they buy hair extensions from hair companies or what have you, and it's not 100% virgin hair. And a lot of times it might be what they call synthetic hair. And you see them a lot of times maybe scratching their hair or hitting their scalps a lot of times because of the synthetic that's in it. Or sometimes it's the bacteria that's inside of the web. And so because of that, we do just the opposite. Our hair will last a minimum of 5 years. It's 100% virgin hair, so there is no synthetic in it. And that's what makes us different.
So, sorry, go on.
Do you have any advice for any upcoming business owners?
Yes, I have a lot of advice for that, but I'll keep it real short. Is that operate in your passion, but when you operate in your passion, understand that there's a business element to that. So what does that mean? Like, what are the things that I have to do business-wise to get started? So it's good to obviously read some books and find out how to do it, but try to connect yourself to somebody who's already in business, someone that can try to help you. Say, hey, how did you get started? And they tell you, well, I had to open a bank account, I had to go get licensed, I had to go do some things of that nature, and write those things down and be passionate about it, because when you decide to make a decision to get your own business, it is a big step. So what you're really committing to is that I'm going beyond working for someone, or at least working for someone, entirety, and I'm deciding to take a portion of my life and dedicate it to opening up a business, meaning that it's a heck of a responsibility. Almost have to treat it as if it's like a child. You have to nourish it, and you have to make sure that sometimes when things don't go right, you still got to be there. You got to make sure that you do the best that you can be, and hopefully one day that you'll be in a position to be able to hire other people, and then be able to be in a position to help society.
So, question. So synthetic. So synthetic hair means that like it's virgin, never been touched.
So synthetic is just the opposite. Virgin is it hasn't been touched. Synthetic hair is not real. So so in the United States, in order for them to say that you have they don't use the word virgin hair, 100% human hair is not 100%. You only need 33% of virgin hair, right? So that means that the rest of that hair is not real hair. And most of the time, probably more times than not, you may be getting a good price on the hair, but you have to throw the hair away in like 30 days, 60 days, or, if you're fortunate, it might last you 4 months. But the important thing, the way Galaxy looks at it, the Galaxy 5000 looks at it, is that we actually care about the actual client that's purchasing hair. And why do you say that? Well, my wife really allowed me to see something that was alarming to me, that I would say anywhere between 20 and 30% of African American girls, by the time they turn 30 years old, they've lost a lot of their hair, and they almost have to wear wigs and extensions for the rest of their life because they have bacteria in their hair or synthetic. Some people are allergic to synthetic, and they don't know they're allergic to synthetic, and you'll see a lot of them balding, and because of that, and because of those scenarios, we make sure that we're not a part of that. So what Galaxy 5000 does is basically have a product that you can feel good about. And you still, just like I said about business, you got to do some business things. So with hair, you got to make sure you take the hair out, wash it, make sure you don't keep hair in there until, it hasn't been washed in 4 or 5 months. And then you take the hair out, and then, they got to cut, almost shave the woman's hair off because it's all tied up inside of it. So it's a lot of things in there that a lot of clients don't know about. And so we try to educate our clients as much as possible.
Oh yeah, I believe Miss Imani also has some questions that both of you can actually answer.
Did both of you go to college?
Well, I can answer that. No, I didn't go to college. I went to 1 semester of college, which is very unique because most people think I've had PhDs because I've been around a lot of business executives. But in answering that question, I do recommend that you have a full knowledge of education on how to just be in a position to work, whether you're working in a company or whether you are having your own business. There's a standard that I think everyone should have. I was able to just pick that up over the years. I told you I opened up my first business at 21, but I've been business minded ever since I was 15 years old. I was a manager of a band, believe it or not. It was a jazz band, and I was getting my group in places I couldn't even get into. So that means I was booking people and I couldn't even get into the places because I was too young to get in. So I've always had a knack for business and met a lot of different business people. But if someone would have asked me, again, would you do it the same way? I probably would have said, yeah, I think I should go to college just to get a full understanding because, the hard knocks sometimes can cost you a lot of money. Sometimes it can cost you more than the school itself. So it just depends on how that's being viewed, but I do recommend that.
Yes, and if I was to actually address that, yes, I do have my degree. I have my bachelor's, my master's. I got at Coppin State University, got my doctorate in humanities. But the key piece was the Rolling Stone magazine had, when they interviewed me, they asked me what was the most significant place I spoke at. And I said, well, I guess I could say the White House, or when I spoke at Parliament, or when I spoke in front of Mandela's house, in front of 10,000 people. And I said, but it was actually at my high school when I was asked to speak, where my principal had placed a bet I wouldn't make it to 21, and my counselor said I shouldn't attempt to go to college. And I ended up coming back with my bachelor's, master's, working on my doctorate, also with my book, Temporarily Insane, that I had wrote. And the key piece that was also about that was they said a man named Congressman Elijah Cummings next to me. And the reason that was so significant is because when he looked at me, he looked at the program, then he looked at me, he said, young brother, you got to tell me what you've been doing. I said, yes, sir. I said, because the last time we were sitting next to each other, this was not the situation, because he was actually my lawyer defending me. I was the last client that he defended when he became a congressman. So to actually come back to my high school where that principal had said I wouldn't make it to 21, and actually that counselor who said I shouldn't attempt to go to college, and he was actually still working there, and now I have a higher degree than he does. I think that was an amazing, to me, 365 degree, letting them know that it ain't how you start, it's how you finish.
You told me before we got on set that you majored in criminal justice. Is that correct?
Yes, criminal justice, political science, and got my minor in African American history. I got my master's in criminology, which was in juvenile delinquency prevention.
What made you want to major in those?
To be honest with you, I had to keep it 100 with you. Actually, I used to be actually in the streets. So I'm one of the younger people they wrote the series The Wire behind. So my godfather was Little Melvin Williams from American Gangster. So I was actually in the streets. So before I was known as Dr. Ted Sutton, I was known as Crazy Ted. In fact, you can Google either one. My face going to be the first one to come up. But I only say that is that, what I realized is that, I was in the streets and my friends were, but we didn't know the laws. And so really I wanted to learn, because I'm like, how you never play a game that you don't know the rules. And so I started learning laws. And then once I started finding out, I'm like, oh, wow, Terry versus Ohio saying that they cannot stop and just up and frisk you. They have to have probable cause. They cannot go in your pocket. They can only do an outward pat down. And, and I started learning, just like different laws. And to me, I wanted to not only learn myself, but I wanted to educate some of my friends that were still, out there. And because how can you play a game that you don't know the rules?
Miss Imani, do you have anything else you want to add?
Not right now, no.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to Mr. Chris. What made you interested in real estate?
Well, I'm going to give you a number of versions of what made me interested in real estate. I sort of said early on that it's just the excitement of, as far as my construction is concerned, being able to see our clients very happy and seeing the bad things that could happen, then we can turn it around and make it a good thing. But overall, I think it's just good, especially as the African American companies, to be in a situation where they can actually buy property, subdivide it, and be able to be called developers in real estate. And the reason why that's significant is because, as my brother here said earlier, you need to know the rules, and you have to play it as it should be. And a lot of times, people don't, and a lot of companies don't. Small companies are not able to understand, which puts us sometimes in a position where the effort really went in a positive way, but it didn't come out so positive. And oftentimes they've been I've been in scenarios right now, and I'm just thankful to God that that didn't happen to me, where good companies went in there with the good intentions of making a lot of money, and they walk in there and they lose their shirts, and they end up losing the property that they went in there thinking they were going to make money on. And so we also have a passion on making sure and mentoring other companies to say that you have to have your things in place. You have to understand the rules of the game, as my brother said earlier. Once you understand what that is and know what you have to have, that's going to be the most important thing to be successful for. So for us, for so many different reasons, we really enjoy. We have clients in Potomac, Maryland. We have clients in Washington, D.C. We have clients in Northern Virginia. But it was a really big compliment to have a subsidiary, Marriott, which is BlackRock, to find me and wanted to know if I wanted to get involved with doing hotels. And that was a mind blower. But the reason why is because one connection heard of another connection and said, there's a guy that knows how to play the game and knows the rules, and we can make this thing happen for everybody. So in that regard, it's very exciting to be in real estate. There's so many different options to be in real estate. You don't necessarily have to be flipping property all the time, or that you can decide to do any area of real estate. It can be your money can be invested in other people that actually do it, and you can get a return that way. We're actually have already started something called accessory dwelling units. And so what that is that the jurisdiction, local jurisdictions have actually allowed you to put another smaller property on your property. That means that you can have a smaller home and it's legal. Now people have done that and it's illegal, but now it's legal, meaning that you can put a whole building up to 1,100 square feet, which is a pretty big place, 2-bedroom. And the exciting part about that, if you are a homeowner, you can get into real estate just by getting that built and renting that place out, using it for Airbnb. But more importantly, if the person want to age in place, they may want to live in there because they gotten older and rent their whole house out. So many different things that can happen in real estate that makes us excited, and we're taking the lead on that here on the East Coast. We're not going to just be working that in the DMV. We're going to be working that across the country. We've already gotten licensed in Atlanta, Georgia. We've already gotten licensed in North Carolina, and we've been recently licensed in Virginia. And so we're going to take this ADU wherever it's legal on the East Coast. We want to take it to the higher level. It's already legal in Florida, and it's already legal now in Georgia. So we're going to be being able to let people know that without getting into the hard knocks of real estate, they can sit in their own property and be able to get some good income.
What are some tips you have for someone remodeling or flipping a house?
Interesting. Well, you all asked us a real good question. I'm just really excited about the questions that you all are asking me. That can go in a lot of different ways. Unfortunately, there's an investor who understands real estate, and there are investors who don't understand real estate. And the people who don't understand real estate are normally people who have careers in something outside of that, which, doctors, lawyers, all kinds of other professions. They want to get into the happy space of flipping houses. Well, the problem with that is that they're trying to hopefully they can retain some kind of equity in the house where they can sell the house and generate some money. But the interesting thing about that is that if they get with an unlicensed contractor, they get with somebody that says that we're going to be able to do this for you for $10,000. And the investor says, okay, $10,000. I think I can have this house sold in about 4 months if the guy says what he's going to do, and I'm going to get it for $10,000, and he gives the guy $5,000 as a deposit. He doesn't see the guy anymore, or he gets in there and does some demolitions and gets some things going, and he doesn't, and there's no recourse. And the interesting thing about that, a lot of investors do something, say we're going to borrow from a hard money. And that's what it's called, hard money, for a reason. That means that if you don't do that deal in that time span they gave you, 4 months, 5 months, whatever interest rate you were paying is going to double. And they're going to ask for a lot of money. And that's a bad scenario when you are a person that's going to flip house. So again, you need to know the game. You need to know the rules of the game to make sure you don't get stuck in that. And one of the first things that need to happen is that if an investor is totally looking to get into something and flipping a house, get with a licensed contractor. Don't cut. Don't try to go in there and say, I can get a better price down the street. Or down the street might end up making you have to pay the whole entire street. Because by the time they get done with you, you're going to end up paying so much more money beyond what you would have made. And now you're in a scenario right now, possibly facing bankruptcy, because we don't know what the deal is and what you got involved with. But a lot of times people just don't know. So it's going to be important to really understand the rules of the game, whether it's in the law, whether it's in real estate. I don't care what it is. Be passionate enough to say, I need to do my research, and I really want to be able to get this done in a way where it's going to benefit me, and not to a point where people can, vultures can just attack me.
Are there any grants you would recommend for someone looking to get into your industry?
I can't recommend grants because I just don't know that industry, but I'm sure, again, with the technology where we are right now and dealing with so many different things online, I know that there are a lot of organizations and groups that offer grants. I hear about it all the time. I'm personally just not one who can actually tell you exactly what to do. But if there is one that's out there with entrepreneurship or anything in real estate, I would definitely advise to look into it.
Okay, I think I'm going to pass the floor back to Ms. Taylor.
Do you have some advice for upcoming businesses? Do you have any advice for upcoming businesses owners?
Yeah. the advice is to, again, this word passionate is very important, because if you're not passionate, you won't follow through. And that means that, when the wind blows west, you'll be jumping on something else. Wind blows east, you'll be jumping on something else. Get into something that you really like, so you won't just give up right away. And so one of the things that I would say is that when you are passionate about it, understand everything about it. Again, I keep jumping on what my brother's saying about knowing the rules. It's so important because it actually helps you. I was probably at the time when I was going to New York as a buyer, I was 21 years old in 1984. And I had to be the only African-American buyer in New York City in the fashion houses. And to me, I didn't think it was a big deal, but it was a big deal to everybody that waited on me. So much to the degree that they were, wanting to know how I got there and asked all these questions. And it actually ended up where I got a job offer. Of course, I didn't take it, with Bloomingdale's. At that time, I was 22 years old. So that was exciting to see that, but I had passion behind it, and I never went back to working for anyone. And not that that was a bad thing, but I had so much passion. I took the hard knocks as it came to me, and I was very thankful for all people helping me out, black, white. I had all kinds of people helping me because they saw the passion that I had. And anyone who wants to help, want to help themselves, I'm also the kind of person that will help a person that's really passionate about helping themselves.
I believe Cole's going to ask maybe a few more questions, and then we're going to go to our second guest.
Okay.
How's your hair company?
How's it doing?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. As I said earlier, the hair company is doing very well. We got into the business. We probably made our first purchase, I would say about $20,000. We made our first investment for about $20,000. And from that first initial investment that we made, and then let me just stop for a minute, because I will say that my wife at the time was attending Howard University. And with all the information that I had as a business person, one of the things key was going to be having an investment. She says, well, just from doing hair, I've saved up $50,000 on my own money. That's probably why she's my wife today. But nevertheless, to be able to see that someone was disciplined and passionate about wanting a business that they had already started saving money on their own was very powerful. So part of that $20,000 was her money. As a matter of fact, a lot of it was initially. But it went from an initial order of $20,000 to where we were ordering monthly between $80,000 and $100,000 a month. So that means that will tell you what kind of sales that were going on if we were able to be in a position to order like that.
Where do you get your hair supplies for your shop?
Well, we don't have a shop. Like I said, we have a manufacturer. So basically, once we cut the hair at the ponytail, and we actually prepare it and take all of the whatever, they went through a whole big system. If you go online, www.galaxy5000.com, you will actually see the whole process on how we process it before it gets here to the U.S. We take all the things out that can possibly hurt the hair, lice or whatever is detected, small hairs. We take those things out and we ship. So we're not a store where we have supplies other than just the hair itself, and hair product like conditioners and things like that. We do sell online as well, but not in a big way. And those supplies and those conditioners we work with a person who does that from out of New York, and we have a relationship where we exclusively use their product.
Well, it was great having you on, Mr. Chris. I know you said you got to get up out of here by 6:30, so
Yes,
I'm going to let you go a couple minutes early.
I got one question.
Yes, sir.
Oh, it's not from me. It's from people watching. Is your organization hiring for any consultants?
Not hiring for any consultants today, but we are looking to make a stronger infrastructure for the construction industry. So right now we have divisions. We have new home construction. We do renovations. We do additions. We do bathroom and kitchen. We have a division for each one that we have. And so as we're growing, especially now hearing that these hotel people really want us to continue, we're looking to build a full-fledged infrastructure to be able to handle the business that's coming our way. Also, to be into a different dimension of how to handle construction business in that industry. And we're going to be looking for some high-paying. We're going to be paying some high-paying positions and looking for people that will take us to that level. We are doing that, but 2024 right now we're being focused on those ADUs, and for 2025 and 26 we're going to be settled down and moving on to that next position.
Yeah, it was a pleasure having you on, Mr. Chris. I hope I can get you on again one day.
It'll be my pleasure. And I do want to take time out to thank each and every last one of you all, because I haven't even seen anything like this in terms of youth, and it's so important that you all are going to the radio media in your lifetime or in your journey. It's good to get started early. Don't take it for granted that this was a great opportunity to be able to be heard, to be able to, in some cases, be seen if you're on Facebook or anywhere on social media. So it makes me excited that you all, saw fit to invite me here. I'm glad to have come, and look forward to coming back.
Well, yeah, we look forward to having you back. Okay. Everybody clap it up for Mr. Chris. Anything else you want to add before you go?
That's it. I'm happy. Where I'm going right now, I can have a smile on my face. You all take care.
All right.
You too.
Okay. You not staying for me, brother?
Oh, he got to go.
No, I'm just messing with you, man. I'm just messing with you.
I would love to.
Not take it personally.
I'm excited.
Now we're going to transition to interviewing Dr. Ted Sutton. How are you doing on this lovely day?
Man, I'm blessed. But you know what? Let me start off a little bit like this. I will go across the lane like a nuclear reactor, measuring the radius like a protractor. MCs label me as the mic manipulator. My brain is the bomb, but my mouth is the detonator.
Yeah, okay.
And my name Dr. Ted Sutton.
I didn't even know you had that in you.
Oh yeah. We're gonna get into a couple things tonight. I'm working with the youth, and I love what y'all doing. So y'all make me feel comfortable. I feel home. So let's get it.
Definitely can get on this track.
Right.
My first question is actually a youth question. What inspired you to give back to the youth?
Man, let me be honest with you. I was a problem, at one point during the youth. I didn't know who I was and whose I was. And I think that was a major, problem. And so from the ages of almost from 14 to like 24, I was a problem. So when I ended up actually changing, what I realized is that, I saw that, with the right words at the right time in the right place, you could change the trajectory of what was going to happen. So I've had people to actually call me before they were actually going to commit a crime, and actually sometimes before they was getting ready to take a life. And then I would go to where they were, and I was able to actually talk to them, and God gave me the words to say, and I was able to end up changing what could have happened in that situation. So I think it was major.
That's a blessing. I think that's very important. I think if you give somebody, put somebody in position like me to do what they want to do for a living, I really don't think they would harm. I think a lot, at least half the people that are do illegal things or sell drugs, things of that nature, I really do believe it's just to put food on the table for their families and for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So right. You can add on if you want as well.
No, I was actually just going to say, that's key. But see, I also had a foundation. So my grandfather was one of the deacons for defense that fought against the Klan in Louisiana. You should look that movie up. It's called Deacons for Defense. Forrest Whitaker actually did it. And my father was an organizer for Dr. King at Southern and Grambling University. And my mother worked for Medgar Evers, the same time that at Jackson State University, she was actually making copies in the copy room the night he was assassinated in his front yard. And then I had an uncle who was a Black Panther with Bunchy Carter in California. And so I have some roots, but the thing is, I guess I come with a message. It ain't how you start, it's how you finish.
Oh, amen to that. That kind of leads me towards my second question. What was the thing that motivated you the most to help former criminals?
Oh wow! Well, you know what? It's funny. because I don't even say they was criminals, to be honest with you. It's like, well, you got to acknowledge something. They wasn't just out there playing chess. And I say, I get it. But the thing is that I feel that I'm not a talking testimony, but I'm a walking testimony to let people know that it's life beyond mistakes. And I think that's the key piece, because I told a young brother the other day, and he was like, man, I'm just tired. I'm done. You know what I'm saying, man? I feel like I'm losing my mind. I said, check this out. And I actually, I said, put your hand on your chest. And I said, is your chest going up and down? He said, yeah. I said, that means you're breathing. If you are still alive, that means it's a chance for change. And so if you are still here, you know what I'm saying, if you still breathing, if you still in your right mind, you know what I'm saying, I don't care what's under the seat in your car. I don't care what's under the mattress. I don't care what you've been through. I don't care about your rap sheet, how long it is and what people said you was. But if you are still alive, there is a possibility for change. And that's the message that we have to give out there.
Amen to that. What are some obstacles in your past that you had to overcome, that you did overcome?
Oh, man, I mean, it was crazy. But one thing that I tell the youth is to choose your friends. Don't let your friends choose you. Because in middle school, I actually was, chosen. So I had some people that came up to my table in the lunchroom, and one of them just took my butter crunch cookies. That was we used to have them in the 3-pack cookies, and they took it and just bopped off. They was about 7 deep. I'm like, oh, this ain't gonna be a good day at all. And so, but I went over there. I'm like, man, I'm not gonna get treated like this every day, because I know if I let this ride, it's gonna be every day. And I went back, snatched the cookies, and I went a little hard on them. And in fact, I don't recommend it. Don't try this at home. And I was like, y'all gonna have to kill me if you want these cookies. I'm like, I'm not made like that. Now, I do feel that was kind of a little bit over the top, a little bit overkill, to say the least. But the reason I say that is because they was like, yo, this dude is either crazy or he don't know who we are. And really, I did not know who they were, but they gave me the name of Crazy Ted in middle school. And I challenge anybody out here right now to Google Crazy Ted, and my face will come up. So I think that is unfortunate that something that actually was put on me as a label when I was in middle school still kind of has followed me, even to this day. Even being Dr. Ted Sutton.
I'm going to pass the floor now back to Ms. Tim.
You're going to pass the mic? We got a cipher going on, okay?
What was your college experience at Coppin State?
Oh, man, my college experience to me was so different, because I thought it would be like the 13th grade, pretty much like just how, and it was not. You really had a lot that you had to just take care of yourself. It wasn't like your parents they wasn't calling your parents. You had to really be, but I will say this, I was going because I just wanted at the time for my parents to kind of like stop sweating me about going. But at one point, it was a moment when I started to see the light turn on for myself. And I guarantee you, if anybody ever really gets to that point where you're not going because somebody's sweating you, because no judge say you better go, but when you see, man, I'm getting something out of this, I think that it's an amazing journey, right there,
What was your experience at Woodlawn?
Oh, wow. Well, I'm going to tell you, actually, I have no shade, for Woodlawn. I love my Woodlawn family, and it was funny because I was from the city and my parents kept moving. I think they were trying to put me in a better position, every time they were like trying to level up, but I kept on going back to Bellinghurst, and I kept going back to, Park Heights. I kept going back to Hilltop, and even running ball down Lafayette Courts. But I will say this, it was really, something. So I ended up having some good people that I met, like Miss Umba, who helped change my life. And then also I had that principal named Mr. Sergi. Hi, Mr. Sergi. If you see me, because I just gave him a shout out just recently, last week, I happened to be invited at Harvard University. I mean, I'm tripping off of it now. I was invited at Harvard University. And I just wanted to give him, I did a live, and I said to Mr. Sergi, I said, y'all can listen in. I said to that principal who said I would not make it to 21, I just wanted to let you know, sometimes bet on the long shot because he pays off bigger. I'm still here.
What gives you joy to help people?
Oh man, you know what? I mean, to me, I think that when you really look up what I've done in different things, and I shouldn't even say what I've done, what I feel God has allowed me to do. He gave me permission to be, somebody that can make change. And so for me, when the riots kicked off here and I was able to pull together some of the Bloods, the Crips, the BGF, and they started protecting some of the black-owned stores. I mean, for the girl, giving her a shout-out, Jackie Miller, who was actually in a house fire, and she was on fire coming out of the 3rd floor, and I reached to catch her, and actually I pulled her out of the fire and saved her life. And her brother, actually, I caught him and gave him mouth-to-mouth because he wasn't breathing. And I had just learned how to do mouth-to-mouth on a real young child. You got to use your 2 fingers. And so to me, I feel like a superhero. I mean, you looking at somebody that was given a second chance who didn't earn a second chance. And so for me to have that second chance, I think that you when you come in contact with people, you either come with 1 or 2 people. You have dream builders and dream killers. I'm going to be a dream builder all the time. So if I see you and I see you trying to do something, I'm be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be that person that want to sit in the wagon. I'm going to be the one that we going to both push it. We can make it.
Oh, we're going to pass it off to Mr. Cole. He's going to ask you some questions as well.
All right, Mr. Cole, you got another ass over here. Let's go.
What's your main message as a speaker?
Oh, wow. Well, you know what? It's real simple. It's my main message is that people can change. I'm the founder of People Can Change, and I am also the founder of Men Against Murder, and I'm with also an organization called First Line Strategies that helps people coming home and returning citizens and different things. But to me, I think that the message has to be that there's life beyond mistakes, because I think that sometimes people feel that, man, I'm too bad to go to church, or I'm too bad to try to go to school, or man, I got a record, and I always hear excuses, and I say that because I'm like, yo, I don't care what your situation is, saying, man, you can make it, you can change. And so the thing is that light has to push away the darkness. So you have to be the light for when people don't have no light. You have to encourage people when they have been discouraged and they felt like giving up. And so that's so life beyond mistakes is one of my definitely key messages that I gotta put out there. Mm-hmm.
How was it growing up in Baltimore?
Oh man, you know what? I tell people it's funny. I've gone to some of the roughest places in the world, in Haiti, in Zimbabwe. In fact, in Zimbabwe, I actually was on where they had one of those trucks that had the machine guns on it, that they had to take me to a community and from California to Caprini Green to all of these different things. So for me, it was really something to be in a situation where I tell people that Baltimore has prepared me to go anywhere. I can go anywhere. I can go anywhere on this planet, and I'm not shocked about anything. In Chicago, you know what I'm saying, in Little Rock, Arkansas, you know what I'm saying, and I've worked with Bloods in California, Crips in Little Rock, Arkansas, Vice Lords, Gangster Disciples in Chicago, Junior Black Mafia, Philadelphia, 9th Ward Boys in New Orleans, 515 Boys in London, the Johnsons, the Burgers in the UK, and you know what, and I'm still got that message that it ain't how you start, it's how you finish.
What was your reason for becoming a consultist?
Okay, well, actually, one of the people, my godfather, I told you, was Lil Melvin Williams from American Gangster, so, and also from The Wire. So I was helping a lady named Sonia Song, who also, she played the female detective on The Wire, if you ever saw it. So I was helping her actually in the community and things, and she had an episode on Law and Order, Special Victims Unit, and she was like, I know this guy, and they were looking for somebody to be a consultant dealing with issues of the streets and dealing with gangs and different things of that nature. So they suggested me, and they sent me, I would say almost 100-page contract. You know, I tell people, I tell everybody, read your contract. I got to be honest, I ain't read every page, but for the most part, you know, when they sent this book to me, you know, I ended up being, you know, recommended to be a consultant for the show Law and Order. Special Victims Unit, and it's been an honor, you know, to be able to be a part of something that's been a part of our culture, you know, in the media and everything else.
Now, I'm gonna pass the floor back to Miss Taylor.
Uh-oh.
We're gonna switch it up.
Uh-oh.
What is your main message as a speaker?
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? I think that my whole message is, like, I try to tell people that your passion will help define your purpose. So when you find out the thing that you are actually passionate about, even when you're not getting the money, even let's say if you did nails a certain way, if you did hair a certain way, and sometimes it's not even about the money. Because I tell people, don't chase the paper, chase the dream, because you can always spend up money, you know what I'm saying, but you can never spend up favor. And so, you know, for me, when you are able to do something that is not about the bag, you know, and you're also helping people at the same time, that's a win-win-win situation. So if you find a way to actually make some money in it, because I tell people, I don't live for money, but I do need some money to live, you know, but if you can actually do that, I think that you can help change people's lives, and you're not even working. It's like you're not even working a day in your life when you do that, and I think that that's amazing.
Okay. Did you grow up in the city or the county?
Well, actually, that's a split question, because I actually grew up in both, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't know I was actually, as a baby, even born in Cherry Hill, you know what I'm saying, right there in Mercy Hospital, and also lived on Swansea Road, which was near the Alameda, and different things of that nature. My parents kept on moving, trying to get me away from the city. Then they moved to Woodlawn, you know, and the whole nine. And but I will say this, you know, I kept on coming back to where my friends were, which was in Hilltop, which was in Bell and Garrison, which was down Lafayette Courts. And so I give it to my parents. They tried, but, you know, that middle child that they had, boy, just had to learn the hard way.
What profession you like growing up?
What's that?
What profession you like growing up?
Well, I would say this and things, you know, for me, you know, to have the opportunity to make a difference in people's lives, to do some different things, I think it's like really, you know, amazing. Like I'm, to be honest with you, you see how energetic I came in when I got on the mic. See, the thing is that, you know, you looking at somebody who's not supposed to be here. You're looking at somebody that people gave up on me. You're looking at somebody that a state's attorney said I shouldn't be allowed to go back into the community. Principal said I won't make it to 21. A counselor said I should attempt to go to college. And I have one message for the people that is hearing that, somebody saying, you look just like your father, he's nothing, and you're going to be nothing. So sometimes you have to look in the mirror and actually look in that mirror, and you have to actually encourage yourself. And so, you know, so sometimes I had that one message, prove them wrong. Prove them wrong.
We're going to switch up the tempo. Mr. Cole is going to ask the last few set of questions, and then we're going to go on to our next topic if we have any time.
Okay. Well, let me know if I got a second to do a little spit too. You know what I'm saying? When we get to closer to the end, because y'all got me a little pumped up enough. You know? Shoot. Glad I ain't had no Red Bull or something. I'll be messed up.
Are you part of any ministries?
Yes, actually I am. I'm the founder of People Can Change Ministries, and I've always helped my father, who was pastor of Maryland Church of God in Christ, and also Columbia Church of God in Christ, which is still, you know, in the family. And my brother, I've always assisted him, and he's pastor Columbia Church of God in Christ. But to me, you know, a lot of people don't know I'm an ordained minister. I'm an ordained elder. I'm actually a pastor, because to me, sometimes live by the degree, die by the degree. So I don't really focus on the titles, but people know how you make them feel. People know how they feel when you let them know that they can make it. And I think that that's the key piece, because sometimes titles can sometimes almost be like barriers. When people were talking to you, be like, oh, I ain't supposed to curse. You know what I'm saying? Oh, here he come. Let me put that blunt out. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, nah, I don't gotta take a puff of the blunt, but you know, I mean, I'm just letting you know you can still make it, yo. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes that's the message that you really gotta have, is letting people know that don't give up, you can still make it.
When's your birthday?
Actually, September the 6th. That was a good day.
Oh, you're a Virgo just like me. I'm September the 2nd.
Uh-oh. There we go. Time to turn up then. I see why you connected with me and things, you know. So that's really something. You know, that's really something.
Things young you would do differently.
Things the young you? The
Yeah.
young me?
Yeah. Young version of
Oh,
yourself.
wow. And it's crazy because I did this thing to say if I could give my old version of me, the one who was known as Crazy Ted, the one who carried a sawed-off shotgun, probably shot every type of gun out there, the one who would look at that person and say, what you looking at? And that was all I needed to see. You know what I'm saying? I would just say, you know what? Turn down, because you're living a life that you're going so hard, you're going to make somebody try to have to kill you. So I need you to know that you can make it. And people are waiting for you to get to this point for you to help them. So stop living so destructive. All them people who made you feel like you was less than and you wasn't going to make it and that you wasn't worthy of being somebody's important. Just let them know, man, you're going to prove every last one of them wrong. So don't give up on yourself now. I need you to believe in yourself. You know, and I think that would be something that I would love to tell myself, you know, when my friends were stealing cars and in middle school, you know, I mean, stealing cars and going to chop shops and see, but one thing I will say, in my book, I talk about that there's a lot of young cats today, nobody has even taught them how to do wrong the right way. They even doing wrong. Like, how do you steal a car in your own neighborhood and you keep the car? You know what I'm saying? How do you go to a beef with 5 guys with guns and weed smoke going out the window, radio blasting, bad tags, and a tail light out? That means you just might as well pull up in front of Central Booking. You know what I'm saying? But to me, you know, some of them haven't been taught. So as some of the so-called OGs, instead of sending them on kamikaze missions that they don't come back from, we need to take the time to let them know, man, you know, certain things you're doing a little bit wrong, young brother. And if you listen to me, if you take a few minutes, man, I could actually put you on some game that you can have a legit business, which is money the feds can't take from you later.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll briefly touch on this. I know we have a few minutes left.
My man, Antonio Merchant.
Question I have, everybody can answer it. How, you know, we went through the pandemic a couple years ago. How has COVID impacted you all's mental health? And we can start with Mr. Ted and then go around the table.
Well, I think that it affected me, but part of what affected me was seeing what my family was going through. You know, my children, I have a 12-year-old now, and I have a 16-year-old. He's at the School for the Arts. And my daughter, who was 18, is at Jackson State University. You know, and so, but to see them not be able to be around their friends, to see them miss school, and I had a nephew that didn't have a real graduation, you know, and I had his senior year, which was going to be his breakout football year. They didn't have, you know, the football, and that could have been a scholarship for him. And so I started to see not just me, meaning that I'm used to dealing with trauma, but it was bothering that people who are now civilians, who are not in the streets, are actually seeing a part of different things that really was affecting people as far as with their mental health.
COVID impacted me, like, I couldn't learn because we had to do virtual and stuff like that.
Well, it affected me because honestly, it was like something that really just like you said, it affected a lot of us around the world, and a lot of us can relate to each other. And I think that when we had to stay indoors, some of us were like, we can stay indoors, we don't have to go to school. But once we learned that when you're indoors too much, it can take away from the things that you want to see. And I feel that a lot of things that were exciting and people were eager about, I feel like were taken away once COVID started. So it really sucked, but I'm glad we're out of this mess, and hopefully we won't see another COVID for a very long time.
Right.
And then Mr. Jaggers and Jay want to go real quick before we have to end. You good? One more minute. Well, it was great having you on, Mr. Ted. Well, is there anything that you want us to know that we didn't cover about yourself, or want you that we don't know about yourself?
One thing, I'm gonna actually finish how I started. You know, first I was born in sin, now I'm born again. No weapon formed against me can begin to win. There are no rules to break and no rules to bend. Just have faith like Daniel in the lion's den. And it doesn't even matter if you're deep in sin. Your life can be spared and won't have to end. But you can't be swayed by getting paid and laid and start handling your business and stop being afraid. Because you have to make a stand for what's righteous. Because I say you like this. Because you know the words. You can't fight this. But you might like this. But even in spite this is not entertainment. Because God helped me write this. So maybe I might just spiritually hype this. Righteous ride, and yes, I did incite this. I'm like a college professor just doing his sabbatical, and yes, I'm about to get radical. Praise for days and days on end. I won't back up, I won't break, and I won't bend. Protect when man, respect the land, be your man, while you're taking your stand. And to all of the counselors and principals that gave up on this G, all I can say is, he saw the best in me. And my name is Dr. Ted Freedom Fighter Sutton, and I support that message, y'all. I'm out of here.
Yes, there's real talent in the building. It's your boy King JTH.
You.
Everybody else. Your boy King JTH. Co-host can say their name, and we out.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right, y'all. Come on, I grabbed the mic.
I told y'all I was the man. I couldn't do it without everybody else.
I don't play. I'm come correct, and I will say, if you're gonna do it, you know it. I'm a poet, I'm a PG in the floating stage, you know it. If I'm gonna keep it correct, put that butt in check like a pet. What the heck, go ahead and step as I wreck. Can I'ma go for mine, it's my time to shine. I'm still fine as wine, I'm still doing my time. And if I'm gonna keep it real, I'm a piece of steel. What you wanna see, what's up with me? What the deal? Oh no, got the mad flow, so yo, I blow the stage and now you wanna know that I will still go. You wanna see what's up with me because it's me. It's Mr. Me on the TV and the place to be. Sit back and relax, know how I'm gonna go for mine. In time to young, deep divine sign. Oh no, keep on blowing, cause you know I'm going. I'm gonna keep on, got my man next to me, I'm still showing what?
Yeah. King JTH.
Yeah, cause he know